Good day, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. Former National Security Advisor Colonel Sambo Dasuki, retired, has been granted bail in the sum of 250 million naira. A High Court of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja on Friday granted bail to Dasuki and 4 others standing trial for alleged money laundering and criminal breach of trust. Dasuki is expected to provide a surety who owns the property in the Federal Capital Territory worth 250 million naira. The surety must not be below the rank of a director in the civil service and must also swear to an affidavit of means in addition to depositing his international passport with the court. Dasuki must also inform the court whenever he needs to travel out of Abuja. The former security advisor is accused of misspending about 2.1 billion naira, $2.1 billion, I should say, meant for the purchase of weapons for the fight against extremist group Boko Haram. He has since denied any wrongdoing. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested the managing director of Stallion Group, Harpi Singh, for allegedly making 1.3 billion naira questionable payment to former Minister of State for Finance Bashir Yuguda. The Nigerian conglomerate owned by the Vaswani brothers is one of the major companies currently being questioned by the EFCC as part of ongoing investigations into the SC and procurement scandal in the office of former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki, retired. Detectives at the EFCC say they are trying to understand whether the money was an inducement for a contract awarded to the company by the NSA. Now, a high court in Abuja has released the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on bail. Justice Adeniyi Ademola admitted him to bail unconditionally while ruling in an application filed and argued by his lawyer, Vincent Obeta. In the ruling, Justice Ademola, who had last month granted permission to the DSS to detain Kanu for 90 days, set aside the order. Kanu is standing trial for alleged criminal conspiracy, managing and belonging to an unlawful society, and criminal intimidation.
Honestly, I lack words to express my appreciation for what has taken place today. I want to first of all say kudos to the lovers of rule of law. The rule of law has prevailed in courts today. And honestly, I think I would have been at my peak if I was on the defensive end. But I haven't won the victory today. I want to thank everybody, especially the Fourth Estate of the Rim, for giving the publicity they've given in this case. I saw this as a very big challenge for all those that are oppressed. As a human rights activist, I saw it as an opportunity to let the world know that yes, in Nigeria, there is truly democracy. Yeah. We have seen democracy in Nigeria. Yeah. And today the court, in its ruling, made a very, very serious ruling where he said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released unconditionally.
We feel so happy, and we also want to use the opportunity to thank every Biafran present here and Biafrans all over the world who are praying for Nnamdi Kanu and praying for the realization of Biafra. But I can assure you here today that Biafra has come to stay. Yes, hold on. They may have incarcerated Biafra. They may have incarcerated Biafra for over 3 months now. His release speaks for one thing alone, that Biafra is restored.
Kaduna State's Governor Nasir El-Rufai has placed a ban on all forms of religious procession in the state following last Saturday's December 12 clash between the Nigerian Army and members of the Shia Islamic movement. El-Rufai made the announcement during a state broadcast. He also confirmed he will set up a judicial commission of inquiry into the clash. The governor said the composition and terms of the reference of the commission would be announced within 2 weeks. More than 60 people were killed in that violence, while the army accused the sect members of attempting to assassinate the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai. The Islamic movement said soldiers opened fire on its members. The Islamic movement claimed that over 500 of their members were killed by soldiers in Zaria, Kaduna State. Nigerian authorities are yet to confirm the actual figure of those killed in that clash. Now, a committee put in place by Nigeria's supreme Muslim body over Saturday's clash between members of the Shia sect and the Nigerian army is investigating the whereabouts of the group's leader Ibrahim el-Zakzaki after the army said he was no longer in its custody. Zakzaki was arrested by soldiers reportedly with gunshot wounds on Sunday morning in his house in Zaria, Kaduna State. More than 60 members of the group were massacred during the clash with the Nigerian army. A 7-man committee set up by the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs (NSCIA), led by the chairman of Muslims in southwest Nigeria, Dawood Naibi, met with the chief of army staff, Tukur Buratai, in his office in Abuja. Buratai told the group he no longer had el-Zakzaki, as the Shiite leader had been handed over to relevant authorities for prosecution. The Federal Executive Council meeting, earlier scheduled for Friday morning, has been postponed till Monday, December 21st. All ministers arrived at the presidential villa in Abuja ahead of the 10 a.m. scheduled commencement time of the meeting before they were informed of the postponement. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed, while speaking to State House correspondents, said the postponement was to allow the ministers reflect on some of the corrections made on the 2016 budget proposal during a meeting of the National Economic Council held on Thursday. Buhari is expected to present the budget to a joint session of the National Assembly on Tuesday next week. Now, Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed has underscored the commitment of the present administration towards exploiting the full potentials of the tourism sector as part of efforts to diversify the economy. The minister, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Ayotunde Adeshugba, at a workshop in Abuja, said oil revenue could no longer provide resources to meet the growing and competing demands of the nation. Hence, the need to explore tourism as a catalyst for economic growth and job creation. Mohammed expressed the conviction that the nation's diverse and unique cultural heritage were capable of driving tourism to create a sustainable economy that provides jobs and income for the nation. A 5-man panel of the Court of Appeal in Abuja has dismissed the appeal filed by Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel challenging the October 21, 2015 judgment of the State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal that nullified his election in 18 out of the 31 local government areas in the state. However, the ruling being awaited is a judgment on the appeal by the All Progressives Congress candidate Okonu Mana, asking for an order nullifying the election conducted on April 11, 2015 in the entire 31 local government areas. Earlier, the appeal court had dismissed an appeal by Emmanuel challenging the competence of Umana and the APC to file a petition challenging the outcome of the April 11 poll at the tribunal. Nigeria's electoral body INEC has announced that the Bayelsa governorship rerun election in southern Ijaw local government area will take place on January 9th. The commission declared the December 5th state governorship election inconclusive after cancelling the votes in the local government areas following cases of violence and election irregularities. Results from this rerun will determine who becomes the next governor of Bayelsa State. The main contenders in this election are the incumbent governor, Sereke Dixon of PDP, and former governor, Timipre Silva of APC. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll look at business and international stories. Please don't go away.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching the Funny White Man Show, which is the biggest, the brightest, and the most entertaining show in Africa.
Funny white man, funny white man, funny white man, but this is where you talk, it's too much. Give me 5,000 man, that's you. It's too much. So you get it like, when she move along the street, yeah, me should like there, I'm going girl. You know, my own people, actually. Yeah, fine, it's fun. I enjoy it. And I'm one of those very few. I'm forever taking it personal. I will say 160 million Nigerians are corrupt. How? Brother, I'm looking for you.
Yeah, but it's a growth, and this is the time to build business and know the pitfalls and know what to do and what not to do. But there are months where you get business and months.
You know how we do, how we tell you. We did the way you did.
Hello, you welcome. You watching Trending Matters on the Funny White Man Show. Of course, we will bring you trending issues just to entertain and tickle your fancy.
Welcome back. This is TV360 News Now. A Shell Dutch appeals court ruled on Friday that Royal Dutch Shell can be held liable for oil spills in Nigeria. This potentially opens the way for other compensation claims against the multinational company. Judges in The Hague ordered Shell to make available to the court documents that might shed light on the cause of the oil spills and whether leading managers were aware of them. Friday's ruling overturned a finding by a lower Dutch court in 2013 that Shell's Dutch-based parent company could not be held liable for oil spills at their Nigerian subsidiary. The legal dispute dates back to 2008 when 4 Nigerian farmers and campaign group Friends of the Earth filed suit against the oil company in the Netherlands. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has announced the award of new contracts to 21 crude oil off-takers almost 4 months after President Muhammadu Buhari revoked the licenses from previous holders. Indigenous Nigerian firms were awarded contracts to leave 41% of total crude allocation, while major trading firms would control 47% of the crude oil allocation. NNPC trading affiliates were awarded 12% of the total allocation. Shortly on assumption of office, President Buhari had ordered the immediate cancellation of all offshore crude oil processing agreements and crude oil swap deals for refined petroleum products between the NNPC and various oil traders around the world. Crude futures were mixed in Asian trading on Friday amid a global glut of oil that shows no signs of abating. U.S. crude were down 9 cents at $34.86 a barrel, while Brent was up 12 cents at $37.18 a barrel. Traders are preparing for even lower crude prices next year, taking up increasing amounts of put options to sell U.S. crude in February should prices fall to $30, $25 or even $20 per barrel, according to forecasts. The African Union's Peace and Security Council has proposed sending 5,000 peacekeepers to Burundi, evoking for the first time a rule which allows it to deploy a force without the country's consent. Burundi, which UN officials say is on the brink of a civil war, has said there was no need for a peacekeeping mission. The aid decision drawn up on Thursday needs approval from the United Nations Security Council, which has been considering options to resolve the crisis, including sending peacekeepers. UN officials and Western envoys have expressed alarm at the escalating violence in a country that has only emerged from a 12-year civil war in 2005. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has also called for urgent talks to avert a civil war in Burundi. The number of forcibly displaced people worldwide will fast surpass a record 60 million this year. This is according to the United Nations. The report by the United Nations Refugee Agency said 1 in every 122 humans in today someone who has been forced to flee their homes. The figures include 20.2 million refugees, the highest total since 1992, the United Nations added. The number were mainly driven by the Syrian conflict and also the conflict in Ukraine and other protracted conflicts, it said. Violence in Afghanistan, Somalia and South Sudan also sparked large refugee movements, as well as fighting in Burundi, the Central African Republic, and the Democratic Republic of Congo and Iraq. Asylum application had risen by 78% over the same period in 2014, while the numbers of internally displaced persons reached an estimated 34 million. Moving on to sports now, Real Madrid president Florentino Perez says sacked Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho will not be making an immediate return to Madrid to replace Rafa Benitez. According to Perez, Benitez remains the ideal man for the job. The 52-year-old Mourinho, who spent 3 seasons at Real from 2010, was dismissed by Chelsea on Thursday after a shocking run of results left the West London club 1 point above the Premier League relegation zone. Benitez has been under severe pressure in recent weeks as Real's La Liga campaign faltered and they were expelled from the King's Cup for fielding an illegible player, and he's widely expected to be discarded if Real's results do not rapidly improve. Meanwhile, Pep Guardiola, Gus Hiddink, Wande Ramos and Brendan Rodgers have all been touted as possible successors for Mourinho in Chelsea. FIFA's Ethics Committee will hear a defense in the allegations against UEFA chief Michel Platini on Friday, although the Frenchman will not be there to argue his case. He will be represented by his lawyers. Platini vowed to boycott the hearing, claiming the verdict was already announced to the press by a spokesperson, which is against the presumption of innocence. Platini is currently serving a 90-day ban following investigations of an alleged payment made by Blatter to Platini in 2011 over work done several years earlier. Platini was a clear favorite to succeed Sepp Blatter as FIFA president until Swiss authorities quizzed them over a $2 million payment to the Frenchman from FIFA. We have come to the end of news now. We thank you very much for joining us. I am Thelma Okoro.